While urban living continues to offer many opportunities, jobs, and services, urban areas can also concentrate health risks and hazards as rapid expansion of the populations presents problems to the city authorities in the provision of basic services to all. Today, billions of people still lack access to safe water and sanitation, resulting in needless deaths, chronic diseases, missed education, and reduced productivity. The UN Sustainable Development Goal number 6 seeks to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Achieving universal access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene by the year 2030 is a major challenge in many parts of the world.
We are concerned that we are not in a good place in terms of achieving these targets. 60% of the population in Africa does not have access to basic sanitation facilities. And similarly, when you look at it's even higher in terms of hand washing facilities, which we use as a proxy indicator around hygiene. So that being the case, that we notice that on average, at least 50% of the population in Africa does not have access to basic water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities.
Uganda's capital, Kampala, is no exception to these challenges. The major problem here has been toilets.
We were having toilets, but the toilets were not up to the standard. Open defecation in Kampala by that time was around 2%. So that meant that the people had the toilet. But now, when you look at the quality of the toilet, they were having the improved toilet. We are rated at 35%.
The UN defines an improved toilet or latrine as a facility that hygienically separates human waste from human contact. This could be through mechanical or manual flush that sends the waste matter to a piped sewer system, septic tank, or pit latrine. The Performance and Monitoring Accountability 2020 Uganda indicates that 67% of households used non-improved sanitation facilities.
It means that the users at any one time were at a risk of getting water and sanitation related diseases, despite of them using the toilet.
The Kampala Capital City Authority is out to change this. They introduced biotoilets, a convergence of pit and flush toilet systems to deliver higher levels of hygiene with much reduced use of water, while delivering biogas for the school kitchens.
In 2014, we came up with minimum standards. When you look at them, they direct the communities, they direct the schools, the institutions, how to construct a toilet that will meet the standards to make sure that you don't get the disease when you have used the toilet. In Kampala, you are not allowed to construct a pit latrine without lining it with the bricks to make sure that you cut off the communication between the contents in the pit and the groundwater system.
In this system, all the toilets in a block share a sewer line in which raw human waste flows or drops. This is to enable the use of a single flush tank or just under 2 liters of water for each block. The flushed water runs through the sewer line, draining waste into a biodigester where bacteria breaks it down to release methane. The methane collects at the top of the tank and is channeled through a pipe to stoves in the school kitchen.
Schools like this one, Chisas Primary School, has 1,600 children. That one with a normal toilet with normal flush toilet would be spending a lot of water to cater for 1,600 children.
It's actually known now that nearly 1 in every 10 African students or African girls don't go to school on the days when they're menstruating because of the fact that there's inadequate sanitation facilities in schools, especially looking at menstrual hygiene management.
The biotoilets have now been introduced in all schools under the jurisdiction of the city authority, a demonstration to communities of the need for climate-conscious development.
We know that children are change agents. So we've come up with the technologies which we feel that are good for communities. And so we have set them in schools. We know that since children come to school, look at these technologies, they can easily go back and tell their parents that these toilets can easily be constructed.
We are advocating as an approach that we don't just stop at putting this infrastructure in place, but that we also look at the long-term element of making sure that these systems, once they have been put in place, are actually robust enough, maintained well enough to be able to serve the communities for a long time.
Apart from just improving sanitation, the bio-toilets also have other greater benefits for being environmentally friendly.
One of the things we do see in Uganda, across Africa, is that there's a high demand on fuel, wood, to generate energy for cooking. And in this case, in these schools, by adopting this approach that you are now reducing the energy requirements that have previously been put on the environment, and looking at different ways. And the other positive element of it is actually the greenhouse gas reduction. By utilizing it, we are reducing the emissions related to greenhouse gas.
Uganda is intensifying its efforts in achieving SDG 6. Whereas Kampala's Cities Sanitation campaign has seen improvements towards provision of improved sanitation infrastructure, the mere provision of infrastructure, improved or not, without adequate emphasis on proper use, cleaning and maintenance, can trigger involuntary descent off the sanitation ladder. Understanding this reversal movement is critical to cities like Kampala as they take steps towards provision of sustainable sanitation services to residents in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 6. Reporting for Africa Development Journal, I'm Juma Majanga.